this notion that you know, same-sex couples will have all the rights of opposite-sex couples. We're just not going to use the word marriage, and that's what we put into the Constitution of our state. Doesn't seem to hold if you can't, you know, if you're not going to have it be able to be dissolved in a similar way.
Right.
You know, a civil union, a contract between two people, can be dissolved.
Yeah.
Just not this one.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just, yeah. I thought that was kind of, I mean, it's not funny, but it's amusing.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. We have a call. Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air.
Yes, good evening. I
Hi.
just had a couple of questions to throw your way. I was wondering if any of you or all of you believed in God, and if you were brought up in any type of religion, which religion would that be?
Okay.
And happy Easter, and I'll let you answer the call.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you. Happy Easter to you, too. For myself, yes, I do believe in God. I am certainly have a great deal of faith. And I was, for myself, I really was, I come from a long line of Lutherans, fire and brimstone Lutherans, but I was really not raised terribly in a terribly religious fashion, but I do have a great deal of faith. I know you were raised as a Catholic.
I was raised in a Roman Catholic household. My mother's, I think my mother's entire family, certainly her 7 siblings and such, it's an Irish Catholic household. It was one of the stipulations when my mom and dad got married. My dad was an undecided Protestant, non-practicing Protestant, and he had to, you know, in the little Catholic marriage ceremony that you have to go through, I forget what it's called, he had to agree to let my mother raise us Roman Catholic. I have to say I'm not a practicing Roman Catholic now. I've had some doubts about the way they do things. But I do believe in an organizing power to the universe. I don't like using the word God because of the weight it carries with a capital G.
Sure.
But it would be a God figure.
Yeah.
Right. I believe in God. I was raised in the Church of Christ, the Southern version, not the version you have around here. It was
Right.
very strict Protestant church. Of course, they take a dim view of the GLBT community, which obviously was not going to work for me. As a Wiccan, I do believe in God. I believe in an all-power. Wicca has been described as polytheistic monism, the idea that there is an all-power, but that there are different aspects of this power, and you can deal with them separately. So, yeah, and I'm a very spiritual person.
Yeah, it's interesting that the people that we know, and typically in our, in our community, the transsexual community, it seems like virtually all of the people I've known in this community do have a great deal of faith. They're very spiritual, or
as spiritual or religious people.
yeah, and I found that was very comforting for me. That my spirituality, my faith has been incredibly comforting to me personally, and but that seems to be a fairly common theme. Not that it's necessary.
No, but I mean, certainly when one starts searching for answers about who am I and how do I fit into this world, you know, faith is one place that you can find some solace.
That's right.
You know, that you know, God does love you, that there are goals, that there are plans for you, that you are a special creation.
This isn't a cruel and heartless joke.
Yeah.
There's purpose for the journey.
Yeah.
He didn't just shoot a marble into the ring and then walk away.
Yeah.
You know.
And the purpose of my existence is not to serve as an example to others.
Right.
But yeah, there's.
And you know, it's an interesting thing. I know that people tend to think that, you know, and I've said this many times before, people look at it as sort of unfortunate and misfortunate. But you know, I'm very grateful to God for my blessings. I'm happy with who I am, and I'm happy to be a transsexual. What I've been through has made me who I am, and you know, I think that's great. And I think that I'm grateful to God for giving me this opportunity have these wonderful experiences. And honestly, it's being sort of existing on both sides of the fence like that is a very interesting perspective, and some very interesting opportunities there to sort of grow as a person, I think. So I feel really good about that.
And our good friend Father Russ would probably I have to chime in on his benefit here, and say that having been raised Roman Catholic, the story of Jesus Christ and the message that he brought is really inspiring, and is a real comfort, right up until the point, because Jesus was a Jew, that they formed this new church with new doctrines and started oppressing people with it.
Right.
So it's
not having learned anything.
Yeah, it's like, what
really.
happened to the message after Jesus left the planet that really seemed to mess things up. The message itself, very good news.
Yes.
Yeah, without doubt. Clearly and unambiguously, Jesus was a wonderful, wonderful person. But you're right, the message has been perverted. And did it happen when the church found acceptance under Charlemagne?
Constantine.
Was it drunk with newfound power?
Well, I mean, it was under Constantine, I believe, that the Catholics and the Gnostics were both gaining great popularity among the people. The Gnostics believed that you could have a very personal relationship with God. You didn't really need all of the pomp and circumstance and structure of the church.
I believe
that.
Right.
And Constantine's empire was headed towards a civil war between those two factions. Constantine had in the Christian faith had this great conversion, and on the political side of the house, he needed to squash the civil war that was brewing. So
right.
he held a council, and he produced a book that became the source of the definitive books of the Bible.
Right.
And before that, there were lots of different books that had been written, and they were all being read by everybody. So yeah, that's a real turning point for penning in the message and diminishing, frankly, the message.
Right. And then an organization founded on the teachings of a person who took vows of poverty became the richest organization in the world.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So,
We have a
okay,
phone call.
another caller. Boy, it's church
Good
night.
evening, NLC Trans, we're on the air.
Good evening.
Hello.
I think maybe your last caller seemed to be a little bit offensive, maybe to the way we were talking about the Pope and stuff. Maybe she's Catholic. I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a large family. One of my best friend's brother committed suicide because of being molested by a priest.
I'm sorry.
And it was a horrible situation.
Yeah.
The family went after, went to the bishop first, went all over, went after this priest, found him in New Mexico with taking care of young boys. I mean, nothing was done. I agree with you. It's been horrible, just horrible that they threw everything under the rug, more or less, And I find, this woman asking this question, you are all people that were not happy with the way you were, and you've decided to do this transgender. This is who you are. They have to separate you and the sexuality part,
Yes,
Who's
right.
saying you're having sex,
That's right.
I mean, you've got to be two different people. My parents were married 71 years.
Wow.
And I know for sure that after Ma had me at 40 years old, that there wasn't going to be a lot more sex. But they hung in there till they were married 71 years, you
Yeah.
know. And,
Good for them.
as we get older, it's not all part of our life, But we're people, and I'm just proud of you people,
Thanks.
Thank
that
you.
you wanted to do this. And, whatever you want to do, that's up to you.
And,
Be yourself
And it's
and enjoy.
yeah.
And
Thank
I'll
you.
let you go.
Thank
Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
evening.
much.
It's before we dive into the other one, it's certainly true. I mean, I know in in the CCD classes I attended growing up and in the readings I've done and such,